Okay, so this is my second video. I got my tears out and just trying to gather my thoughts here. So I think I can talk a little bit. First of all, I'm not a doctor, obviously. I'm a patient. So I don't have all the answers. My only answer is get to the doctors sooner so they can check you out and work on you. It's all about getting to the professionals so they can figure out your treatment route. When I tested positive and then was sick for a few days, I was lucky that when I tested positive, I had already been quarantining myself at home before I even knew I was positive. And it was more, I was staying home because I was trying to stay away from people and not get it. And still got it, So I was lucky. I don't feel like I spread it to anyone at all. And, but after I had my fever for 4 days and it wasn't going away, I still was dragging my feet about going to the emergency room because you see these scary news reports where you get dropped off, no one can go with you, you see hazmat suits and can't enter the hospital, and they take you into these big Quonset hut tents, and it looks like some movie, like, you see these pandemic movies, that we've all seen growing up, and people going into the tent and all of a sudden they have blood coming out of their eyes and their ears, and so didn't have this great smiley warm picture of going to the ER and getting help in my head. So there were steps that erased that fear from my head. So I started having dizziness, and then my brother-in-law got me my oximeter to go on my finger. He bought me one of these that has the numbers on it, though, from Walgreens. And that's when I started being able to watch my oxygen levels. And I started watching them go down and me getting lightheaded, and started seeing them go down enough at home to where I was sitting up and sleeping on the couch and then standing up every hour, setting an alarm on my phone every hour to get up and do deep breathing exercises because I couldn't get the oxygen levels to get up high enough unless I forced air into my lungs. That's when I started thinking I have a problem. And instantly in my head, I'm thinking, oh God, I'm going to have to go get intubated and be in these scary situation that we see all on TV about the pandemic. So I was fighting going to the doctors to the emergency room because I didn't want it being forced to be put in that situation. The next step was I talked to a respiratory therapist friend of mine. She just happened to be on Facebook and was making some comments, and I made one small comment, and it just said, what if you're lightheaded and dizzy? And she just immediately responded back with, go get checked out. And I didn't say anything else. She didn't say anything else. She continued her conversation she was having with other people on Facebook, and I got off Facebook. But I just kept looking from that point at my air going down, and Melissa's words going through my head, go get checked out. And I finally just turned to my husband and said, I need to go. And yeah, it's scary driving up to the emergency room, having hazmat people come out, you going in by yourself, going into this big Quonset hut. Really, really was fortunate that when I went in when I did, because I was able to be seen rather quickly. And within an hour, there was 120 people behind me. It was a nightmare for these people and the nurses. The nurses all were doing so good. I mean, they are true professionals. And for the most part, 99.99% of the people coming in were handling it so well too. It was just really nice to see. They have this down. These doctors and nurses have this process down. Don't be afraid to go in. They have a process. They have weapons. They have, in my prior video, I said antibiotics, but not antibiotics. They have steroids. They have medicines that can help. Breathing treatments, whatever treatment it is that they figure you need. Lots of people came in thinking they had COVID and ended up not. They had other things. So then they went down a different treatment path. But don't be afraid to come in and come in early. It's the people that were coming in later that were having problems worse than me. And unfortunately, a lot of them were older people. And I think the older people are coming in later just because it's harder for them to get around. And they're so used to just, oh, let's see if you get better. You know, different generations are different. They're not all me generations. And it's heartbreaking to see a lot of the older generation just biding their time and seeing if they're going to get better, you know, and then by the time they decide to get to the emergency room, it's progressed a little farther than it probably would have if they had gotten there sooner. If you have a young child, people I've heard say, oh, I'm not dropping my young child off and just letting them take them. They're not going to do that to you. If your child is under 18, you get to come in with them. Come in protected. Come. I have to get a drink. Just a second. Come prepared if you can. If you can't prepare, just get the heck here. But bring a jacket, because these Quonset huts are outside. At least at my emergency room, and it's cold in there. They have air flowing. It's all about keeping the air flowing to get those germs out of these things. So bring a jacket, bring a bag with a charger for your phone, because you're not going to be able to plug in inside that Quonset hut. There is nothing. It is like a MASH unit. It is unreal how much professional work they do. They even have x-ray machines there. Everything's ready for you. But there's no fancy stuff. So you don't get a plug until you get admitted to the hospital. So if your phone's not charged, you know, they probably will help you out getting it charged. I saw a lot of people being assisted with getting family members on phones for them. So, but try to come prepared to be admitted. You don't need a toothbrush, you don't need soap or anything like that, but, you know, bring a change of clothes, whatever it may be. But the biggest thing is just being prepared and coming in. You know, not everybody gets super sick with it, but at least you get identified and they can watch you, because if it gets into the second stage, the silent viral pneumonia, antibiotics do not stop this. They need to get to it quickly. So, but I just want to thank Melissa, the physical therapist, who also helped progress me down to that whole get to the ER. I'm so thankful, you know. Help people out there. You know, it's been a really shitty year of people not helping each other, being very split in this world, and we're all human, and one germ can take all of us out. So why don't we fight the germ together instead of fighting each other? It's like, really, get your heads on straight, people. You can live a while with no food. You can live a little bit with no water. But you've only got moments when you don't have air. And it comes really quick in your face when you're fighting to get air. And you're on one of these little exercisers trying to suck air in just to get enough. Thank God I did not have to be intubated. I don't want anyone to get to that point. And just get in there and get evaluated. That's all I can say. Trust your gut. Stop second guessing yourself. You see a neighbor who's struggling, step in, get them in there. Something. Be aware. I know there's a lot of people that have this that are not saying they have it because you turn into some pariah that you have some big germ. No, don't treat people who are positive, tested positive, poorly. Just learn from it and help them, and help the next person who's struggling with it. So, sorry, I wasn't going to get emotional, but it's just really hard not to. Oh, okay, I'm going to go try to do some breathing exercises before my next big dose of remdesivir, yeah, that controversial medicine that's super expensive that saved my life. You know, let the nurses know and the doctors know what tools work, or what tools they want to use to help people. They're seeing what works and what doesn't work, and stop letting politicians fight over it. The doctors aren't going to put people in unsafe environments. They're going to step right up and say, no, I'm not using this or that. But me as a patient, I was basically at a point where I needed something to get air, and I'm like, hands up, I want that shit. Sorry, shouldn't cuss, but no, it's either air or trying something that will possibly help you get air. Well, I'm glad my choice worked. I'm glad I had a choice. I hope everyone has a choice. So, over and out, people. I can't wait to return to the real world out there. Love y'all.